Hello everybody, this is Kirishima here. Now, before I begin, there is actually another YouTuber, XOR What If, who has done a version of Deku having explosions. I suggest you guys go check him out, because it's actually a good series, in the way he actually did it, but he's not posting right now, so you guys can check him out. Anyways, along with that, let us begin. I believe I left off with Deku and Bakugo being at the age of 13. Now, Deku and Bakugo are actually training. And Bakugo would actually see Deku, and he's actually walking by. These two do different forms of training. Bakugo sitting in the garage, using the bench press, and actually using a bar they have on the wall that he uses for pull-ups. Bakugo is asking Deku where he's going, and Deku would just say that he's going to go out for a run. Bakugo would ask Deku why he always just runs, and Deku would say it's actually a very good form for what he's trying to do whenever he becomes a hero. In fact, not only does he go out running, but he also uses these, as he lifts up his sportswear, basically like his, what's the right word for him? They're not gym, what is it? Sweats. He lifts up revealing he has actually weighted bands on his legs. Bakugo asks why he even uses those, and Deku would just say that, well, they actually do help me improve my speed. In fact, I was going to go get more this morning. Okay, well, that's good, I guess. So you just use these all the time? Oh yeah, no, dude, I wear these all the time. In fact, these are lightweights for me. Anyway, Bakugo will be seeing you as Deku just takes off running. Bakugo is actually surprised, seeing that Deku is actually taking his training very seriously. So he actually somewhat smirks, thinking that if he is going to do weighted training, he should do it too. Now, he would actually go back into their house and ask Mitsuki if Deku has any of his extra training weights lying around. Mitsuki would just ask what she means, and he would just reveal that Deku's been doing weight training. She's saying that that boy is actually pretty smart, so it does make sense he'd find a way to keep training all the time. But he might have some in his room. As Bakugo would walk into Deku's room, trying to look around for the extra weights. He doesn't see any, so he would eventually give up and go back to the garage. Deku would eventually come back home, and he walks back into the garage with his backpack on. Bakugo is asking Deku exactly how much weight did he get this time, and Deku would reveal he is now wearing 20 pounds on his ankles, and he's wearing the 10-pound braces on his arms. Basically using about 60 pounds of weight. Bakugo is saying that that's not very efficient or very smart, because it's going to waste his stamina. Deku would just say that that is not really true. In fact, he kind of figures out a bit more of how his quirk works. Yours works more on your physical body, while mine relies on my mental power. Basically, if I think about it long enough, I think I can stop things from exploding permanently. As he actually looks down at his hand. Bakugo sees this and he just tells Deku that that's good, but just, at least, where do you get your weights from? Oh, well, that's easy. There's this gym where they actually sell them. In fact, they do it for a lot of speed style heroes. They even have extra training heroes there. What do you mean training heroes? Well, there's certain pros that have big brand names. They work out at those gyms, and the gyms basically give them free memberships. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. Yeah, what is it? I think Fat Gum goes to that gym. Or I believe he at least has a brand at that gym. What do you mean he has a brand? Oh, like, he has like a protein shake, I think. It's actually really cool. Alright, I'll take your word for it. Let's go. As these two would go to that gym. He's just there barking loud. I really hope you guys cannot hear that in the background. I'm probably going to have to check on that in a minute. Anyways, they would be going to the gym, and they would actually walk in. They see a lot of different heroes, and Deku actually sees... I was going to say Ingenium, but I don't think Ingenium lives in their town. Yeah, Hosu City was where the attack happened. Okay. He would just say that this is actually a pretty cool place, and Deku would actually just walk over to the guy at the counter, asking if he can buy those weights again. If not, buy some different ones. The guy would ask what Deku means, and he would just say that he wants to actually get the vest. Because he was going to wait on it, but since his brother now knows about this place, he might as well get a jump on it. As the guy would actually walk out of the room, bringing back in a 40-pound vest, showing Deku that it weighs 40 pounds, and he has to essentially be careful with it. He has to pull the 20 over his head, make sure not to bonk himself with it, slip his hands through, and actually just let it slide down his back, and then he has to put the straps together. Basically the ones from behind him, moving them forward, and then moving the ones from forward on the front of it to the back. Basically duct-taping it to his chest. And the reason why I know so much about that is because I actually own a weighted vest. It's 80 pounds and it's very heavy. Now, while Deku is putting this on, Bakugo is watching this, actually asking if he can get a 60-pound one. The guy would think that you're kind of crazy, aren't you? And Bakugo would say he's not crazy, he's just stronger than him. Deku would actually say that he's not even sure that's possible, as Bakugo gets somewhat annoyed. I realize I've been calling him Bakugo. Katsuki. Ah, that's weird. Yeah, I can try doing that. I just realized that since they both are... I have Deku's dad, they're both a Midoriya. So calling him Bakugo is confusing my brain. Anyways. This is whenever Deku would actually say that these things aren't no joke, and even though we're both around the same strength, that these things are very heavy. You have to start out small, otherwise you can seriously hurt yourself. As Bakugo would slip on the vest, he actually finds that it's actually somewhat harder to move his legs. Basically feeling the extra weight of it, but he thinks that it's fine, as he actually begins walking around the gym going to do different things. The guy would say, shouldn't you tell him? And Deku would say, no, let's just watch him learn. This is kind of how we did it when we were kids. Bakugo would go to work out, but he finds that with the extra weight and the way he has to move is not very easy to work out with. So he realizes that this is basically how Deku trains, using the extra weight to run. So he just gives up on it, saying that he'll basically wear the weighted wristbands and the rated basically ankle braces so that he doesn't have to limit his movements a lot. Deku would kind of just say that that's very easy because that's just what he does. As Deku would actually just run out the gym as he begins his new jog home. Now then, Bakugo is actually left there and he actually gets somewhat annoyed as he walks over and begins pumping iron. He just starts training at the gym as a guy would walk over asking him if he needs some help or if he needs a spotter. This is Kirishima. He would just say sure, whatever, as he now has a training buddy. Let us cut to a little down the line, probably a month or so later. Deku and Bakugo have been training a lot with their physical body. Okay, I'm pretty sure that was a window. Anyways, there are 13, let us jump to the start of the anime. Bakugo and I almost said Kachan. Bakugo and Kirishima are actually gym buds. So they actually do train, and Kirishima actually gets his quirk tested a lot by hanging out with the Explosive Brothers. Now, Deku actually tells Kirishima one day, whenever they're training, that this is going to be very, very hard for him to do. As he actually just runs at Kirishima, and he immediately just starts punching his hands forward. Now, he actually does the open-handed thing Bakugo does with his explosions, where he just moves his hand forward. But he actually does curl his fingers into his palm and actually hits someone. Now, the way he's actually hitting him, he's able to touch him with all 5 fingers and actually put the force behind it into his palm. As he would immediately do so, he immediately just starts running backwards, actually just starting to basically slip his hands back and forth between each other, touching his fingertips. Now, as soon as this happens, Kirishima is immediately met with several to 14 large explosions, blasting him backwards. As he's falling backwards, people are watching, and he actually smashes into the rubble. While he's recovering from that, let us cut to around the start of the anime. They know Kirishima, and they are actually on their way home. Kirishima knows they basically work out at home a lot, but he kind of just wanted to hang out today. So Deku and Bakugo would actually go their separate ways. Deku actually wanted to head to the music store, while Bakugo would actually go with Kirishima to train at a different gym. Because they've basically learned and used all the equipment at their gym, so they want to go to another one. Because they heard that this one actually is a boxer style one. Basically allowing you to actually get into some rings and actually fight people with your quirk. If not, just fight them regularly. So Deku and Bakugo would actually split up, Deku walking toward the tunnel to a music store. As Deku's walking, Bakugo and Kirishima are going the other direction. Deku would eventually be attacked by the sludge villain, and he would eventually just have to try and rip his way out. Now, as soon as he actually gets attacked, he's somewhat able to run away, but he gets his arm caught. Now, whenever he's trying to pull out his arm, he actually just pulls up on his wristband, actually letting his hand slip out of his glove. Now, as soon as this happens, he actually just taps the sludge villain, and he immediately just starts letting loose an explosion. Now, he actually doesn't care about what's going on, he just kind of panics, and this explosion completely engulfs the entire tunnel, actually somewhat making it unsteady and unstable to walk through. As this happened, All Might would arrive, saying that he is here and... Oh dear God, what happened here? Why does it smell so... Ugh. What's that smell? Deku would just say he's sorry about that. He kinda got nervous. As All Might would see Deku, he would ask him what happened. Deku would explain the villain attacked him, and he kinda just had to use his quirk. All Might would ask what he means, and Deku would just say he has an explosion quirk, but it's fairly dangerous. But I've actually gotten a lot of control over it, so I don't really need to worry about it sometimes. But I always keep an eye on it. In fact, these little gloves I have, as Deku starts looking around for the other one, he would eventually find it, and he would just say, these little things are essentially his ultimate safeguards to his quirk. If he touches something with all 5 fingers, it can go boom if he allows it to. All Might's actually interested in Deku's quirk, but he just says that that's a very fine quirk, and he plans to see him towards at UA. As he picks up the sludge villain and actually jumps off. Now, Deku's thinking that Bakugo is not going to believe this. He forgot to get his notebook signed, and he actually looks around, finding his notebook at the edge of the tunnel. This somewhat confuses him as he opens it up, revealing a signature from All Might. He immediately begins fanboying and actually running to the music store. As soon as he walks in, he actually asked if he can get some heavy metal music and some punk, along with some actual death metal, and he actually asked for Five Finger Death Punch and a few other American bands. The music guy would actually say that you're kind of in luck because I got a girl looking for some of those bands also. As he actually points over to where she is, he would just say she's basically by all those, everything you're talking about. Deku would walk over and he actually sees the girl. It's a purple haired girl with earbuds on her ear, basically earphones on her earlobes. No, a headphone jack. Wait, that's an actual quirk? That's weird. Oh well. Not weirder than mine. As he immediately just starts picking up some CDs. She actually sees him doing this and she's asking why he doesn't just use his phone. If not, just download playlist. Because they got some other things like different small iPods and different types of tracks like that. Deku just says that him and his brother kind of have a fondness for death metal like this. In fact, we usually stay up a lot working out and listening to it. She immediately says, "You have a brother?" Deku would say, "Yeah. Well, my twin brother, actually." As she sees his gloves, she actually asked him what's his quirk. Deku would just say that he basically has an explosion quirk. The gloves are basically, they help me feel better about it. As she actually tells him that, well, her quirk is a bit weirder. Basically, she can use her heartbeat as a weapon with her earphones. She just plugs them into herself and she can produce sound waves. Deku would just say that that's not weird, that's actually pretty cool. As these two would talk for a minute, Deku would immediately hear an explosion nearby. Deku thinks about this, and he actually runs outside after frantically setting down money on the counter and taking his CDs. He immediately runs outside and he sees where the explosion happened. As he immediately begins running over there, Jiro actually having trouble to catch up. Because he kind of forgot one. Now, Deku, he's actually running over there and he's thinking that he essentially might need to ditch his weights to actually make it there on time. Because he's got to see what type of villain they're fighting now. Deku would immediately get over there and he would see that it's the sludge villain. Wait, didn't All Might have the sludge villain? No, wait. Oh god. No, the reason why All Might got, essentially the sludge villain got loose, is he jumped a bit with too much force. He knew he was about to shrink down, and thinking about this kid as a successor, he kinda blanked on his power output for the jump. So, he almost hit the building and became a red paste. But he was able to get somewhat intact after dropping the sludge villain. Now then, Deku sees Bakugo, Baku bro. That's stupid to say. That's what Kirishima calls him in some comic dubs I've seen. And Kirishima actually being attacked by a sludge villain. Kirishima is actually having an easier time. Now, Bakugo and Kirishima, they are actually struggling somewhat, and Deku sees this. Deku would just ask if anyone's trying to help them, and people are just saying heroes are trying, but Mount Lady can't get through there, and a lot of the heroes are trying to focus on the fire, because that kid's quirk is dangerous. Deku immediately looks at the man, shouting that his quirk isn't dangerous, that's my brother, as he begins taking off his weights and his gloves, and actually pulling off his shirt, taking off his weighted vest. Actually, somewhat ripping off and actually blowing away the gauntlets. Blowing off the weights on his ankles. People are watching as this kid just took off all this weight after running here. He immediately puts 3 fingers on the ground in a stance with his hand behind him and immediately begins running in. As soon as he did that, everyone will watch how fast this kid is running as he's immediately just charging at the sludge villain. His palms opened. Deku immediately just begins by slamming his hands into the sludge villain, actually just tapping as much as he can. And he's actually running around and actually dodging the villain's attempts to actually get him stuck in the slime. Deku's basically he's just sliding his hand over it, and eventually Jiro would arrive, asking where that guy went. He would just say that kid just dropped his stuff right here and went in. She looks down, seeing all these weights, saying there's no way he was wearing all that. And I still couldn't even catch up? No way. Oh god. As she immediately sees him, she actually runs in also, trying to help Deku. She immediately tells him to get back and cover his ears, as she immediately begins blasting sound waves at the villain, actually making the villain somewhat disrupt, as Deku is able to pull Bakugo out, and he tells Bakugo to help him with Kirishima. Bakugo would actually be able to grab Kirishima and pull him out, and Deku immediately sees Jiro, telling her that she needs to run now. As they all begin running, Deku immediately brings his hands together, blowing out the sludge villain as All Might is actually right in front of it, and he actually just has his hand outstretched. As he was about to do that, but now Deku just did so. All Might turns around, actually asking the boy if he's okay, and Deku would say he's fine, but he just didn't expect All Might to do that. All Might would say he didn't really do anything. That was all you, really. Deku's kind of surprised, saying, okay. Well, I guess that's worked out. As everyone immediately begins crowding around Deku, asking what his quirk is, he immediately just throws his hands up as high as he can, and people are confused. Bakugo would immediately just start shouting that they kind of need to back up, otherwise he'll use his quirk by accident. Everyone actually gives Deku space as he walks over and picks up his gloves and puts them back on. As he looks at his ankle weights, looking down at them, picking them up, realizing that this is going to cost him a couple bucks. As he just slips back on his wrist weights and actually his weighted vest. People are asking him if he's a hero or if he's going to be a pro. Deku would just say he's not an amateur, he's actually going to be a student next year, along with him and his brother. He would actually ask Jiro why she followed him, and she would actually just say, you kind of forgot this. As she tosses a CD at him, he would actually grab it, saying, oh crap, thanks. She actually tells him that, you're welcome, but you owe me a favor now. Well, I mean, you kind of did help me, so what's up? Well, I'm planning on going to UA also, so I was hoping that you guys can help me train. Oh, alright. Actually, Bakugo, what do you want? Well, she wants to train with us. As long as she doesn't get in our way. Bakugo, chill out. No. Baku, bro, you need to calm down. Kirishima, go fuck yourself. That's how I see that conversation all going. Just genuinely not good. Deku would eventually convince Bakugo and they would all actually leave. Deku saying that they're gonna head to the gym. And Bakugo saying that they're gonna head to this one then. As they all go. Now, I will be leaving this part off here, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video and have an amazing day. I will catch you guys later.